All right, you're going to get at the front door. You're going to stand. You're now arriving at the front door. You got your traveler with you. You're going to knock on the door, stand back. I don't stand right at the front door looking through the peephole, right? When they look through the peephole, all they see is your nose, right? So I'm going to stand back probably 5 or 6 paces, give a distance between me and the front door. You say, John, come on, that's silly. No. Indirectly, subconsciously, it shows less aggressiveness. It shows a respect. For me, it shows a respect if I'm at a great distance. And it's non-threatening. Okay, it's non-threatening. I'm going to greet the seller anyway, handshake and thank you for the appointment today. And, again, there's some bullets here I put, but use your discretion, on how you would greet them. Okay. Be confident. Be confident what you're going to do. Okay. Shake that hand and thank you for allowing me to come and present my services to you. I appreciate the opportunity. You got a beautiful home. First thing I may say is you got a beautiful home, real pretty home. And then, obviously you're going to kind of give an overview of the listing appointment. Now, you're not going to go through a full overview at the front door. That could happen at the front door. More than likely, it's going to happen when you go in and sit down. Okay. But I put it at the front door because it could be that's how that may fit your system that you have in place. Hey, I'm here for the listing appointment of which we're going to, and then you give a little bit of an overview. Okay. Now, 9 times out of 10, you got your traveler. They know you're bringing coffee, so you're going to go sit at the table. Okay. Probably first thing you're going to do is you're going to pour a cup. How about a cup of coffee? Yeah, that's great. Now, when I'm walking into the front of the house, I'm usually coming through a foyer. I'm going to take a little bit of a notice of what I'm seeing. I'm usually behind. I'm not leading, obviously, because I don't know where the kitchen is. I don't know where the kitchen is. So I'm behind, and I may make a few comments to them. Oh, this is a nice foyer. I like this art piece here. And that may go into a conversation right there in the foyer. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to create a soft atmosphere, complimenting their art in the foyer or the furniture. It may turn into, hey, yeah, we got that from, overseas when we visited this country, and it's handmade, and here's the history. Next thing you know, you're listening and they're starting to tell you about something, and it creates a real soft atmosphere. The defenses start coming down, and you hadn't even got to the front table. So there's a possibility of complimenting as you go in. Okay. And then obviously you're going to sit at the table and, you're going to confirm you got a pre-listing package. And again, let the conversation lead. You're going to thank them again for letting them have the appointment. Now you got your coffee poured. Again, what order this goes in, you're just going to have to play this out. Okay. But and you're well enough versed, how to go with the flow. Okay. If they have had the numbers, if you forwarded them numbers like a CMA and they got questions about it, you can say, we're going to talk about the CMA if the seller starts asking questions. Here's the point. And again, here's the point where you're talking, drinking coffee. Again, it's kind of an icebreaker. You may be talking about things you share in common, football teams, or whatever the case may be, whatever conversation you get in. But there comes a point in this icebreaker conversation that you're going to have to take control. Okay. Now, obviously, you're not going to reach out and say, look, I'm in charge here. No, obviously not. But you inside, you're going to have to say, we got to get on course now. And so I like to use the technique, and I'll find a break in the conversation, preferably when I'm done with my coffee. If I'm getting close to the bottom of my coffee and I see they're near me as well, and they're talking about, something we have in common, I'm going to wait for a nice break in the conversation. Maybe after they go after another sip, and I may say, hey, look, can you show me your property now? I'd like to see your home. I'd like to see your home. And right away, boom. Yeah, no doubt. Let's go look at the property. So then you're going to start touring the property. Okay. Again, you got your notebook and you're going to start touring the property. Be a good listener. Take good notes. Okay. Compliment, artwork, kitchen space, living space, outdoor space. This is all going to be complimentary. Make notes of any discrepancy any noticeable damages, because that needs to come up later on in discussion sometime. Okay. Cosmetic repairs. If you go into the garage area, may or may not open the garage door, but if they don't worry about it. But that's something that has to come into play later on. Okay. So we're just talking about, as you're touring the home, these are some general things that you want to take into consideration when you're walking through the home. Okay.